Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys see this, just know it's the sun. The sun is sunning today, okay? And I'm not hating on it because it's been 32 for the past 3 days, so I'm not hating on it. This morning I'm bringing you guys a story time, and honestly, I've been wanting to do this story time since I even started YouTube, but I'm like, why dwell on the past? But I'm like, since I'm telling all these past story times, I might as well tell this one. This story time takes place around the same time I used to go to clubs. The same time I used to hang around. Um, L. If you guys don't know who L is, go back to like another story time where she hit me in the face. That's L. We went to high school together ever since we was in 7th grade. That's L. And the reason why I'm bringing L back into this story is because she's kind of relevant, and also, the other person who's kind of relevant in this story is M. If you M and L is also in this story, so make sure you go back and watch those stories. And I'm gonna try to go back and find where they was. Well, I really haven't did a story on M yet because every time I record it, I delete it because it's not either long enough or certain parts my sound goes out, which is stupid. But anyways, I'm bringing in a new character because he is very much so relevant. Back in the day, if you guys don't know, I used to talk to this dude who I was deeply in love with. Okay, um, and honestly, your the way you treat people and the way you handle things when you're younger and when you get older is totally different. But anyways, let's get straight into this video. Uh this video is going to be crazy. And I know you guys are going to judge me for this video because girl, what happened? Okay? So let's get into it. So I want to say it was back in the day when before I probably was a freshman in college, if that. I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure he's probably watching this video and he's probably going to tell you when. But, anyways, I really don't know if I was even out of high school then. But, anyways, me, L, and T, I mean, girl, you got to get the names right first. It was me, L, and M. We always hung out together. If not together, we hung out separately, and we always was on the go. And let's give him a name. Let's just call him Ant, because that's what I used to call him all the time. So it was all of us plus my brother. You guys have seen a small video of my brother, so you know who I'm talking about. And we was all hanging out. He used to talk to this girl. My brother used to talk to this girl. Let's just say C. Um, so one day, I started talking to this dude. I think we met online. Um, I don't even remember how we met. It was so long ago, but I think we met online. And for once, I believe he used to go to the school I used to go to, but he graduated before me. Um, I think that's how it went. And then he went to another university. Now, that is the first time I ever tried and didn't try hard enough to be in a long distance relationship because I feel like that relationship, I feel like it was kind of um I feel like it didn't have a strong foundation at first. The reason why I say that looking back now is like now I try to make a foundation before I just jump into a relationship with somebody. So when me and him met, I'm gonna tell you guys the chemistry was off the chain. Okay, me and Aunt, I feel like the relationship was off and on. It's like we broke up every other week. I feel like I was very childish back then. I was very insecure back then. Even if he's watching this today, he will let you know I was very insecure. Um, and I feel like my insecurities kind of broke up the relationship along with people getting in our business. So yeah, I talk about don't let family get in your business now, but back then I was one of those people. Hey, I was even one of those people that brought my brother into the relationship, and my brother, he's the one that's always like go 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 go. He's ready to fight at all times, and that was kind of, and plus back then he was in a gang, so back then, girl, he's still in one. But anyways, it's like I was always putting him in it, and then it was always a mess. But anyways, one night, we decided to just go pick up and I wanted to spend time with him. Now, mind you guys, this relationship to me is like a high school relationship where the girl depends on boy, boy likes girl, girl think boys cheating, and girls cheats herself type of deal. So one day we go pick up and we chill. Then my brother, he decides he wants to go see his girl at the time, so we went over there. Um and then I went to pick up my best friend at the time, which was L. And yeah, so we went over my brother's girlfriend at the time house. So it was cool. Um I feel like drinking was involved, and I feel like it played a bad part in my securities. So we was up there talking. Next thing I know, um L went to the vehicle, and I seen Aunt go to the vehicle. And in my mind, I had like 1,001 thoughts going through my head, and I'm like, why he's over there when he should be over here with me? You get what I'm saying? Like, I was very clingy, if that makes sense. Not that I look back, I was very clingy. Um, and it's like every time I see him go around other people, I'm like, why he's not with me? Or why he's not hugging and kissing on me type of deal. So, that night, I feel like that night is the night that kind of set us up for this relationship needs to end type deal. So, side note, even before that, I feel like it was a different night I went and picked him up. And I noticed, like, when I took him back, it's like he didn't want me to take him to his house. He wanted me to drop him off with a car full of people. And that kind of like, what are you hiding type of deal. And I feel like from that day, I feel like my insecurities about our relationship kind of heightened. And I think this night that I'm talking about kind of pushed it over the mold. So like I said, he went over what L went. So I'm thinking in my head, okay, this is weird. Why? It's like every time she comes around, it's like he gravitates towards her. But now looking back, I see like that was my best friend, and he was just trying to, like, I don't know, make her his friend, or make her, not make her, but get her to, so they could be cordial towards each other, because this was my friend. So moving along, um, we started arguing. Period. So when we started arguing, it's like, okay, it's crazy because I just walked away because at the time I wanted to argue, but I was also the type like arguing is pointless, but I still argue. I bring up certain situations to argue with people, At that time, it was also some other things going on with me that I really didn't tell him or tell anybody because um, I feel like I could handle stuff back then by myself. Well, certain stuff. But anyways, I noticed that night it was kind of like, okay, um, if that's what he want to do, I mean, he gonna do it regardless. So then he was even trying to tell me that nothing happened, and I was standing right there, and I know nothing happened, but in my mind it was set on, okay, he's cheating on you type of deal. So if you get nothing else out of this little story, make sure you always make sure you get yourself straight before you get into a relationship. I feel like when I got in a relationship with him, I know it felt different, but at the same time, I also felt like this could work, but I had to work on myself a little more before even, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like when I started working on myself, it was too late because the relationship had already dwindled. So, I brought my brother into that situation that night, and I was telling him that and L was cheating on me, like it was crazy. And then my brother took it out of proportion, and it's like when everything died down, and it was like I was so angry. It's like I wasn't trying to listen to what he was saying. And it's crazy because I feel like also that night, me and L friendship was kind of on the rocks already because of some crap she pulled. But I'll tell you guys I why I completely left her alone, because I feel like if I didn't, I feel like I would have died, honestly. Um, So I took him home. I didn't want to listen to nothing he had to say. And this is the time where I knew he was going away to school, and I feel like that played a part in it because I'm like, okay, he's leaving me. He's leaving because of me. I didn't think like the dude leaving because he wanted education. So back then that's how clingy I was. And honestly, me looking back, I feel like I could have did. If I was the person I am now back then, I feel like we will have like kids and all that stuff. But yeah, I feel like you grow. When you grow, I feel like you grow out of stupid things. Um, and honestly, um, like when I said I don't feel like we had a foundation is because I really don't. Um I want to say the first day, or was it the second time we met? I met his family. His family is way cool. It's very different from other families than I have been around. Um and I don't know. I want to say it was like the first or second time we met. I gave it up. Okay. And it was like a chemistry that was like when we was together, it was like um a magnetic type of thing. Like we was in sync type of thing. So, I feel like if I would have stopped with the insecurities, if I would have just um listened to what he had to say and believed him. And also I felt like I was a total um I was super spoiled back then. I will tell you that. So I wanted all the attention on me. I was the type of person who, okay, you're not listening to me, we're gonna argue. I was the type of person, if you don't want to be around me, we're gonna argue. Even if you didn't want to talk to me, oh, we're gonna argue. Um, I was that type of person back then. But I will say that I have changed a lot because I do have times where I'll talk to you, but then also have times, please get away from me, but come back around me type of deal. Um, I don't know if that's the cancer in me or that's just how I deal with certain situations. Um, I now um try to change the way I go about putting people in my relationship or either any problems I have. I don't care what it is. I know like now it's like when I go through certain stuff and I come around my parents, it's like, are you okay? And I just say yeah because I feel like between me and God and my therapist, if we can't handle it, then I don't know why I need to talk to somebody else. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, within that relationship, I had a lot of insecurities. It's like that relationship was kind of a eye opener for me because after we broke up, and this is the sad thing, and this is the part that kind of crushed me, is because I felt like I started to depend on him being around me. I started depending on me, like when I'm sick, he the first person I call. Even when I'm angry or mad, he's the first person I call. I started to notice I started to subtract myself or get distance towards my friends because he was around, and it was crazy because I felt like I was doing so much, but it felt like I also noticed that me doing so much could also be pushing people away. So he went away to school, and this is when all hell broke loose. This is when the whole insecurities kind of heightened. Like he's that far away, he's cheating on me while we're together. I, it was crazy. Um, and we had a conversation one night. It was a long conversation, and um, that's when we broke up. And to this day, it's like, I look back sometimes to my old relationships, and I'm like, what can I get from my old relationships and carry on into new relationships as a lesson? And I noticed like when people tell you what they felt in a relationship, or they tell you, I feel like we could have did this different, and I feel like if you had to listen to me more. And when people tell you certain things, I feel like you should take heed to them and try to correct them now. But back then I'm like, okay, so I'm not good enough. You can't take me as I am. If you don't want me as I am, I don't think this relationship should work. So um so let's just say I felt like he was cheating on me. So I don't know. I was so fucking petty that I cheated with one of my best friends on him. At the time, she was my best friend. Um, and I don't think I did a story of her. I'm not sure if I'm going to. But I did cheat with her. It was like me going to her to have a conversation, but it was like she was the first full lesbian friend that I ever had. Um, but now it's different, okay? But I just felt I confided in her, and it was the biggest mistake of my life because I felt like it was a vulnerable moment. And instead of telling him how I felt, I was telling her how I felt, and one thing led to another, blah blah blah. So then, before we even had this conversation, it's like I texted him and said, "Hey, I messed up." So then that's when he was kind of figuring out you slept with the girl. So then I feel like he already had that me and this girl already did something before I even met him, which is totally not true. We didn't even think about that, but for some reason, it's like when me and him got into it so bad, it's like I went to her, asked her, "Hey, what you think I should do?" But then one thing led to another, and I cheated. Now I know deep down, it's like as soon as I did it, the next day I'm like, I have to tell him. Like, I can't keep this. So, that's when I said I messed up. And I think he already felt it or he already knew it. And that's when we had this conversation of him trying to get his point across, of me listening to other people, bringing other people into the relationship. And I know it was kind of fucking with him because he was away at school. He was playing football. And it was like his relationship is on the rocks. And I still think about that to this day. What could I have done better? Um, Even when I get in a relationship now, what could I do better to uh, not make things on my side fail? So we had a conversation. We broke up. After that relationship, I was crushed. That is when I really started going to therapy 3 times a week. Cause I felt like me going to therapy would get my relationship back, but honestly, I feel like we needed that break because we were so dependent on each other. I feel like we was so emotionally invested. I feel like we was physically invested. I feel like we were so invested into each other. We probably needed that break to grow. Um, I feel like the relationship was kind of immature. But at the same time, I didn't know that because I was so mitten over here. Like, I don't know. It was like I never felt anything like that type of deal. So, anyways, I it's like I went to therapy. I learned a lot by myself. I learned how to cope with different things. I learned how to be by myself. Because when I got in a relationship with him, I just broke up with, well, not just broke up, but I was in a relationship with someone that I started going with in junior high, and we broke up because of putting people in our relationship and me with my insecurities. And but that time my insecurity was kind of right because I did feel deep down that the person I was with in junior high was not the person for me, because that's when I felt like my intuition as a girl really kicked in, because it was a lot of shit going on in that relationship, a lot of drama, and that relationship ended weird. And it ended on bad terms. The terms I take with me today, because it kind of made me who I am, and I hate to say it like that because it's just rocky. But anyways, I it just like this relationship with Ed was to wash away all the bad stuff that I first had to deal with. And mind you guys, the relationship, the bond we did have was amazing, but I feel like on my end, I feel like it was my insecurities and letting people into your relationship will fuck it up every time. So that would happen. And it's just crazy that it was a lot of stuff that went on. Feel like if you have a physical attraction to somebody, you have to make sure your emotional and mental bond is the same. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like my mental was not there. I feel like in my junior high relationship, kind of fucked up my insecurities because of certain situations that happened. I am going to do a story time on that today. So be on the lookout for that. And that is the worst story time I would ever do. And it took me a long time to actually talk about that because I don't know, it was just harsh. But anyways, if you get nothing else out of this story time, just know that keep people out your business. Okay? Because I feel like if we kept people out of our business, I feel like we'll still been together. But at the same time, I feel like we could have worked on ourselves together, if that makes sense. Because I feel like in a high school relationship, it's like you can always work on yourself. You get what I'm saying? And you always have room to grow. So I feel like I just wasn't giving us room to grow, because I always was go to my brother because he was my go-to person. And I always ask for advice, and then when I give him advice, and it's like he blows up 10 times worse than I ever do. So it's like it makes it worse. Then I put my best friend in it, but then on the other hand, I'm thinking she's cheating with him, so it's making it worse. And I feel like she's just telling me things so she can get him. But at the same time, it was crazy. Just keep people out your business. That's the number one thing. And now I learned that my insecurities is my problem.